Namaskar, welcome to the fifth part of the video series. Whatever activities in UiPath we have learned so far are sufficient to do the task. And the task was to read data from MS Excel to create a general journal voucher in SAP. But before making the project or the task, let us understand the flow of activities required to accomplish the task. I have made a flowchart for the same. Let us understand the flowchart. This is the flowchart and it has two open points. One is start point and another is stop point. The project will start from this point and end at this point. The activities are these are the activities. So let us understand the chart first. The chart is extended from the earlier example from the video series part number 4. If you remember the earlier task or the project was to read an Excel file and from the data for sample XLS file and then to go through each row of the Excel sheet, and there were two sheets. One was header sheet and another was line sheet, and our objective was to traverse through each of the header sheet and then traverse through the lines sheet for the control number. Now we want to add at these places our new activities or set of activities to accomplish this task. This is the chart what I have prepared for you. First, we have to use Excel file and it should read the data for sample XLS, and then it will check if the header sheet contains a row, and then it will use the SAP application and call for a transaction if the row count is more than 0. And after that, it will run a loop for each Excel row for the header file to read two different rows. And first it will check if the first row is parked empty. That means if it is reading this line, this row, then the parked column should have empty. If it is empty and no figure is there, that means earlier we didn't run this file, then it will read the cell value, control number, and save it into the variable control number. And then it will type into the document date and use some keyboard shortcut, and then type the reference and then again keyboard shortcut, and then the document header and then keyboard shortcut, and then after enter it will have to enter 7 tabs. Then it will loop through the Excel lines, the lines sheet, and at if each and every row it will check for the control number. The control number, whatever it has saved earlier, is equivalent to the control number from in the lines sheet, that is current row 2. And then it will get and type into the GL account and have a keyboard shortcut tab, and then put the DR or CR debit or credit tag, and then use the keyboard shortcut, and then again put the amount, and then it will use a tab and then enter to validate the voucher. And after that it will click the park button to save the voucher for parking the voucher. It will get the read status bar, will get the generated voucher number and save it to the Excel current row parked. So if it is on this row, then it will save the number here, and when it will be on this row, it will save the voucher number here or the document number here. So this was the chart, and at last, when everything has been read, it will get out of the data entry form, and by clicking the exit button, and then it will ask for get out of it or not, then it will tab and enter, so it will get out of the data entry or the voucher entry module. Now let us build the project, and as we have talked about the flowchart, that first we will start our project by using the Excel file and reading the data for sample XLS, and then check if the file contains any record, and if it is yes, then we will use an application that is SAP Easy Access. And after using the and then call the transaction FP50, and after that we will traverse through each of the row from the Excel sheet, Excel header sheet. So let us draw this. Let us first make this. So we'll switch over to the UiPath Studio, and here it is, and you can see first that it is using an Excel file, and it is here. It is using data for sample, and it is everything is same. And then now we want to check that if it needs to read the Excel rows, but before we want to check something. And what we want to check, that if the header sheet contains some row, therefore we'll add an if condition. So if condition, and we'll fill the value from the condition builder, and we will click on this header sheet, and there is the row count. So we can count any row from any sheet, and now if it is greater than the number 0, so if it contains some row other than the header, so therefore it is the condition, and if the condition is true, then we'll drop an activity, and that activity would be use application SAP Access. So we'll put SAP Easy Access. We'll add use application oblique browser, and before this we must indicate the SAP. For that we must have a running SAP Easy Access. Click on this, and here it is. So now we have been using the Easy Access application. Now we want to call a transaction FB50. To call a transaction, we will call transaction activity, and again we'll indicate on the screen And before that, we must activate this screen. And now we'll click on the application, and then we'll type a text FB50. So now we'll save it, and we will traverse each row of the Excel sheet, that is header sheet. So this is the way point. Now we have created earlier this sheet. Earlier we have created this task, and we want this task as a whole after this. So it is the easiest way to drag and drop by collapsing it and then dragging it into the desired position. Now we want to check. Before this, we want to check that if the current row is parked is empty or not. So we'll add a condition if the current row, the condition builder, the current row is from the park column is empty. So it must be empty. Now we'll save this. If you see the file, as we have seen earlier, that this contains a column called parked. This is the column parked. Now you can see the column parked is empty. So now this is correct. So we will read cell value and put control number, this one. So we'll drag this activity and put into the activity here. So far so good. We're saving the value to the variable control number. Now let us type into the document date from the current row. So we have to add inside this, because if it is true, then we would do something. We'll type into, and then we know that we have to put none in both of the cases, and then we will collect data directly from the current row, that is the document date. So in this way, we'll put data into the SAP field, and then we will, after reading this, we will use the keyboard shortcut and put the tab key thrice. So we'll record one tab, second time tab, and third time tab. Now we have put thrice tab key, and after that we will read the value and again type into the value, and then the document header, and then tab enter. Let us do this. So here we'll type into, and again we will set this as none, and we'll use the reference and then the keyboard shortcut, and we will record tab once, and then again type into, and we'll put none in both of the cases, and then we'll read the document header text. And then we will again have the keyboard shortcut, and there is tab and enter. And that's it, so that it can fill the header and validate the header portion. And after that, the header is read and validated, then we need 7 times tab key to be pressed. So we'll add another keyboard shortcut. Please remember that we have to add another keyboard shortcut, and we will record 7 times tab key press. We have put 7 times tab key press. These are the 7 times tab key press. And now we will be having these lines to be traversed, because we are now trying to feed the GL entries, the line entries. So we will again let us delete this one first, and then we will do traverse this one. So we will collapse this and then drag to here, and then we will expand this again. And now you can see it's again reading the lines as current row 2, and we will check if the control number of the current row 2 is equal to the control number what we have saved as a variable. And then rather than reading the cells, we want to type into the current row 2 GL account and then press tab. We don't need this, and also we'll remove this. And now we will type into, and as you know that we will keep this none. And then from row 2, that is the lines, we'll put select the GL account, and then we'll press a tab key, keyboard shortcut, and recording the tab key. And then again we will use the type into, and then we will again do the same thing. And now the current, from the current row, debit or credit, and after that we will use the tab keyboard shortcut. We can copy these, either copy this from this one and put this here. So we'll select this and then we'll paste this. In this way you can copy any shortcuts or any activity from any place to another place. So rather than creating, you can copy anything, any kind of activity. Now we'll type into the amount. We'll keep these none, and we will traverse from the current row the amount. And after that we will use the keyboard shortcut. After that, again the keyboard sequence from the above, and select this and paste at this place, and then you can record and enter. And so in this way you can copy and modify the keyboard shortcut or any activity. So far so good, we have did up to this one. Now we have to click part so as it can generate a document. So we will go to FB50 because it is not visible at the moment, and now the part button is visible. So we'll capture this one. Now click event, and then we can click on this and single click, left button click, mouse button, and we'll click on this, and this is the place where we want capture the, and this is the point where we want. So we'll confirm. Here it is. After that, let's save it again. After this, we need to read the status bar. So let us do one thing. Let us just enter so that it can generate something on the status bar. Here it has generated some error, but it's sufficient to capture the status bar. Now we will read the status bar by clicking on this and then read status bar. And we indicate the element on this window on the screen, and this is the element. And now we want to put this information into the current row of the Excel header sheet. So we'll use the current row and then we'll select the parked column. In this way, we'll put the value captured from the status bar of SAP. And after this, after completion of everything, every rows of the header, every rows of the lines, then we will click. You can see now let us see, this is the whole operation. That is, after completion of this, there is this whole operation. After this is the whole operation for each loop, and this is contained in this box, this loop, and this is the loop box. So we will put after end of this loop, that is this one, that is end of this loop, and then we have to put this park. So therefore we must put from there the, you can see that we have put this click and the red status bar at the wrong place. So this is the benefit of drawing the flow chart, that we have made a mistake and we can understand this mistake. So we'll drag this out of this loop and then put this here like this. I think I have made another mistake. Let us see what this box contains. No, this is not out of the loop. So we have to pull below this box. We are in the box of if condition, I think so. Yes, we are in the box, but we are inside the loop, outside of the if box, but inside of this. So again, we will drag this and put out of this here. So this is the outside of the loop. Now you can understand what is the loop and what is meant by the looping. So now this is correct because it is outside of the loop. Now you can see that we are outside of this loop. That is this park and the red status bar. So far so good. Now we have to do another thing, and that is, let us collapse this. Now this was the main loop, the bigger loop, and we have to put something outside of this loop, that is after this loop, and we want to exit, and then we will have a tab and enter to close the application. Therefore we will add after this loop, because we have used the FBC50 transaction. We will click and we will click on this exit button. This one is the exit button, and we will confirm it. so that it can exit. And then after this, what we want to press keyboard shortcut tab and enter. So now we will add a keyboard shortcut. To get out of the general journal voucher, we will have to use the tab. Now we have to press enter so that it can add tab and enter. Now this is right, and now we have almost completed our task. Now it's running. It's putting the date and then the reference and then the header text, and then it will enter, and then it will tab 7 times from the keyboard and then put the GL account, debit or credit, and then amount, and then enter, and then again, and the debit and credit, and then 100, and then again enter, and then it will park and it will capture the voucher number, that is 0036, and the second entry as reference 2. You can see the number down below. It's working, and now this is the second voucher. It's entering the 2 lines and enter, and it will park and it will capture, and then it will, and it's end. So now you can see that the project ran very well. And let us see the Excel file, and here it has captured the 2 documents, the 36 and 37. Let us see the documents from the post park, that is FB50 FBV0. It will show you the parked documents. Let us put here the 36 because it is 36, and let's enter, and here it is as you have seen. So in this way you can create the voucher. Now till you have understood how to simulate or imitate an action of operation in UiPath, as this is the beginning. We will continue and we'll understand and we'll capture data from email and then automating the email with SAP, and we will try to read and create reports from different other applications and from SAP, and then we will combine those things into another horizon. Till then, namaskar.